Hello, second graders. Happy Wednesday. I hope this video finds you well. Whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, I hope you are having a fabulous day. It's Miss Plan jumping on to go over Wednesday's lesson. Won't waste any time. We'll jump right in. Remember your say words, your instant high frequency words for this week. Remember to pause and say each of those words nice, loud, and proud so that you're ready for Friday's assessment. Remember to repeat after me before, right, boy, boys, any, means, following, to, line, show, shows, much, old, oldest, came, same, tell, tells, want. Then at the bottom, you have your phrases. Remember that there are way more than 6 phrases, but Miss Bland will ask you about 6 of them on Friday in the Seesaw, and you will read 6 of those nice and loud for me so I can hear how well you read. It's Wednesday, so remember that we have our story. Our story debuts today. The boys had been this way before. They were following the old trail. The trail came to an end right at the lake, but it began to seem much too long. Soon, they came to a sign. The boy at the front of the line stopped. He did not want to go in. Is this the same trail? He said. Have any of you seen this sign before? The oldest boy looked at the sign and said, the sign shows where we are. It tells us that we are not on the right trail. This means that what do you think that means for those boys? They're probably what's that L word? So you'll be sure to read that story for me on Friday inside of Seesaw in your best reading. Did you notice when Miss Bland was reading, when I got to those commas behind but and soon, I took a breath. They tell us to slow down and take a breath. You'll need to do the same. And then on Friday, of course, Miss Bland will read you your questions. Pause here and review your see, say, read, and story. Welcome back. Let's talk about our ladder and fluency and vocabulary activities for today. Let's look at our ladder first. I want you to pause here and see if we can do opposites attract. Starting off with the word fat. And guess what? There's only 5 steps on our ladder. Some days we have 7. Today there's only 5. See if you can fill in the missing words. Guess what? We're getting harder because your top 2 words have 4 letters, not just 3. Pause here and complete your ladder. Make me proud. Welcome back. Let's talk about those vocabulary words. We know that this week our topic is feelings. We had miserable. Oh, very bad. Just so unhappy. Then we had blue. You're kind of just sad. Glad. We're good about something. Like, yeah. Satisfied. What's to feel good about something? Glad is being happy or joyful. And then, of course, joyous means that super excited. I told the boys and girls that are at school with me this week that usually when we think about joyous moments, it's like birthdays and Christmases, those big events that get us very, very excited. So you are going to complete the statement using what we know about each of these words. Number 1, a teacher might be glad when. What's something that could happen that would make me glad? Can't wait to see what you think. I was miserable when I got grounded because, ooh, why would you get grounded? What did you do to get grounded? Must not have taken out the trash, or maybe your report card was bad. What did you do? Number 3, 2 joyous holidays. What are 2 holidays that bring you joy? I know what 2 bring Miss Bland great joy, but what are your 2 favorites? Number 4, I can cheer up a friend when she is blue by. What can you do to make your friends feel better when they feel down? All of us feel down sometimes. What can you do to make them feel better? Write that in for number 4. And number 5, I am satisfied. Remember, satisfied means I feel good about something. When are you satisfied? What's something that just makes you feel good about it? Maybe it's when you finish all your homework. Maybe it's when you realize that you helped mom cook dinner and everybody is loving it. When do you feel satisfied? Oops, sorry guys. Pause here to complete each of these sentences. Welcome back. It's time for Letter Land. This week we are dealing with the air sound and the R in our reading. We talked about each of these words this week have that sound air and R. We have R, square, share, caring, stairs, airplane, fair, care, scare, chair, scared, repair. Pause and say each of those words to yourself. Say the word, close your eyes, and try to spell it. See if you can do it. Pause here to give it a shot. All right, welcome back. Let's do a quick review of some spelling of the air words. Today in Seesaw, you will be writing sentences using your words. Please write me some amazing third grade sentences.
Our priority.
We're almost third graders.
The extra mile
You can do it.
Our vehicles after a full sanitization.
All right, here we go.
Hello and welcome to Little Learners. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the sound air when the letters A, I and R come together to make the sound air. This sound is a trigraph because it has 3 letters and makes one sound. Let's look at some words that use this sound. Air, hair. Let's try again. Air, hair. Well done. Let's have a look at another word. Air, pear. Let's have another go. Air, pear. Well done. Let's take a look at the next word. Air, chair. Let's try again. Air, chair. That word had a digraph and a trigraph in it. Let's have a look at the next word. Air, stairs. Let's try again. Air, stairs. Well done. That was a tricky one. Ready for another word? Air, repair. Let's try again. Air, repair. Well done. Ready for an even trickier one? Airport. Let's try again. Airport. Well done. That was a really tricky word. Ready for our final word? Air, fair. Let's try again. Air, fair. Well done, everyone. That concludes our air words for today.
Those are our air words for today. Very nice. In Seesaw today, you do have sentences. As I was telling you before the video started, make sure you write some amazing third grade-like sentences. Give me some juice. Make them good, not just second graders. We're well on our way. Freckle juice. Yay. We've read chapter 1 and chapter 2. So we are getting ready to read chapter 3. Turn in your book with me, please, to chapter 3 so that you're ready to read along. Remember, Ms. Bland suggests that you listen to the first read of the story and that then you find a quiet space and you do your own reread of the story before you answer your questions. Here we go.
Judy Blume, Freckle Juice, Chapter 3. Andrew ran all the way home. Then he remembered that he had to go to Mrs. Burrow's house to get the key. The secret recipe for freckle juice was folded carefully in the bottom of Andrew's shoe. He was going to put it inside his sock, but he was afraid his foot got sweaty, the ink might blur, and he wouldn't be able to read it. So inside his shoe was safe enough. Even if it was windy, nothing could happen to it there. He made up his mind not to read it until he got home. He didn't want to waste any time getting there. And he wasn't the world's fastest reader anyway. even though he'd gotten better since last fall. Still, there might be some hard words that would take a while to figure out. Andrew pressed Mrs. Burrow's doorbell. "Hello, Andrew," she said when she opened the door. "You're home from school early." "I ran all the way," Andrew panted. "How about some milk and cookies?" Mrs. Burrow asked. "No, thank you. I just want the key." "Well, come in, Andrew. Your mother's in the living room." Andrew followed Mrs. Burrows. His mother was dealing 4 piles of cards. "Hi, Mom. I came for the key." "Manners, Andrew, manners. Don't you say hello to all the ladies?" Mrs. Marcus asked. "Oh, hello," Andrew said. Mrs. Marcus reached for her purse. She opened it and gave Andrew the key. "Change your clothes and play outside. I'll be home by 4 o'clock. That only gave him an hour. He'd hoped the recipe didn't say cooked anything. He wasn't allowed to turn on the stove or the oven. Andrew dashed to his house, unlocked the front door, and took off his shoes as soon as he was inside. He pulled out the secret recipe and sat down on the floor to read it. It said, "Sharon's secret recipe for freckle juice. 1 glass makes an average amount of freckles. To get like Nikki Lane, drink 2 glasses. Mix up all these things together, stir well, and drink fast. Grape juice, vinegar, mustard, mayonnaise, juice from 1 lemon, pepper and salt, ketchup, olive oil, and a speck of onion. P.S. The faster you
Ew, Miss
drink
Bland
it,
said
the
that's
faster
nasty.
you get freckles."
Would you drink
Andrew
that?
read the list twice. It didn't sound like much of a secret recipe. His mother used those things every day. Of course she didn't use them all together. Maybe that was the secret part. Well, he paid 50 cents. He might as well find out. He climbed up on the kitchen counter so that he could reach the cabinets. He found everything except the lemon that was in the refrigerator and the onion. Mrs. Marcus kept onions in the basement in a bin. Andrew ran downstairs and selected a small one, since the recipe only called for a speck. With or without skin, Andrew wondered. He chose a big blue glass. He'd start with just 1 glassful and then drink another if he wanted more freckles. No point in overdoing it the first time. That's what his mother always said. Now, first the grape juice, Andrew thought. He filled the glass halfway and added an ice cube. All drinks tasted better cold, and he was sure this one would too. Then he added the other ingredients, one by one. His mother had 2 kinds of vinegars, wine vinegar and plain vinegar. Andrew picked the wine one. He put in some hot mustard, 1 spoonful of mayonnaise, and plenty of pepper and salt, then some ketchup. That was hard to pour. But what about olive oil? His mother had vegetable oil, but no olive oil. Maybe this stuff looked like water in the olive jar, was what Sharon meant. He put in a few spoonfuls of that. Now for the lemon. Andrew cut one in half and squeezed. Oh no, a seed dropped in by mistake. He picked it out with his spoon. He hated pits in his juice. Now all he needed was the speck of onion, and he was all set. He stirred up the drink and he smelled it. Oh, it smelled awful, just plain awful. He'd have to hold his nose while he drank it. He stuck his tongue into the glass to taste it. Ick, terrible. He didn't know how he would ever manage to get it down, and fast, too. It said to drink it very fast. That old Sharon, she probably thought he wouldn't be able to drink it. Well, he'd show her. He'd drink it all right. Andrew held his nose, tilted his head back, and gulped down Sharon's secret recipe for freckle juice. He felt like throwing up. It was that bad.
Ew.
But if he did, he'd never get freckles. No, he would be strong. Andrew crept into his mother's bedroom. He didn't feel well enough to walk. He sat on the floor in front of the full-length mirror. He waited for something to happen.
All right, he's in his floor. He's waiting. He's waiting for those freckles to pop out. What do you think's gonna happen? Ooh, we'll have to see in chapter 4. So let's look at our packet. We have our 5 vocabulary words: dashed, speck, gulped, pits, and dealing. Using your book, go back and find what you think of this definition that matches each of these words. Then pick 3 of your words and use them in a sentence. You can use the sentence from chapter 3 if that's easier. On the next page, we're talking about conjunctions. We can join 2 sentences together using a conjunction. And we put a comma before. We've done those joining and combining sentences. We know how this works. So they've given you 6 sentences. They want you to combine them and make them into one. So look at number 1. Andrew didn't like Sharon. He was still willing to try her recipe. What word could I use? Andrew didn't like Sharon since he was willing to try her recipe. Nah. Andrew didn't like Sharon, but he was still willing to try a recipe. That works. Andrew didn't like Sharon yet. He was still willing to try a recipe. So does that one. Give it a shot. Try more than one word. Find the one you like best, and be sure not to forget that comma before your conjunction word. Pause here to complete these 2 pages or complete on the end. The next page is our review. First off, it wants you to tell me what were the ingredients that were listed in that freckle juice recipe from Sharon. He finally made it home. He finally got in his mom's kitchen. What was on that recipe? Listed for me in this box. Now it says, go back to your list from yesterday. Is anything that was on Sharon's recipe something that you happen to have on yours? If so, circle yes and tell me what it was. If no, then circle no. At the bottom, we got a text to self question. It says, imagine you were in the kitchen with Andrew. What would you say to him before he takes the drink? Ooh, what would you say? Miss Blaine would probably just be going, ew. Pause here to complete this page or complete on the end. Next up, remember Miss Blaine wants you to do a reread. I want you to read chapter 3 by yourself. Once you finish reading, I want you to come back and I want you to do the vocabulary, the conjunction, and the comprehension questions down at the bottom on this quiz page. You can do it. Make it amazing. Pause here to complete or complete on the end. Welcome back. It's time for math. It's time for math. It's time for math. We are working on grade 2, module 4, lesson 25. Let's see what Ms. Walker is going to show us as our example today. Yesterday's math does have an example on the website in case someone needed it and didn't see it.
Hey friends, it's Mrs. Walker. For our lesson today, we're going to continue working with our place value chart and place value discs and the vertical form. So our learning goal for today says, I can relate models using manipulatives to the vertical written standard algorithm. So that means the vertical form. So the materials that you'll need for this lesson are your dry erase board, your place value chart, and place value discs. Again, remember, if you don't have your place value chart or your place value discs, you can just draw them. Okay, so make sure you have your materials before we get started. All right, friends, so let's use
You can just
place
use a piece
value
of
discs
paper if you want to
help us
practice.
solve problems in vertical form. So remember, vertical form looks just like this. You have your numbers lined up nice and neat, and the ones place are lined up together, the tens place is lined up together, and the hundreds place is lined up together. Okay, so here we have our place value chart. What should we do first?
What should we do?
Yeah, right, we need to model it on our place value chart.
You can model it on your paper or your dry erase board.
7 tens for 70 and 5 ones for 5 ones. Now, friends, why do we only show 100, 7 tens, and 5 ones? Why am I not showing 56 on our place value chart? Yeah, you're right, because when we subtract, we only show the whole. We will only subtract from 175, so that's all we need to model on our place value chart. All right, so let's start in the ones place. So as we're looking here in the ones place, I have 5 ones, but I need to subtract 6. So I don't have enough to be able to do that. So see, look at that spinning 10 right there. I'm going to take that 10, cross it off, and unbundle it or decompose it into 10 ones. Now let's model what we just did on our vertical form. So I took a 10 from here, so I only have 6 10s left over. And now I added that 10 as 10 ones in the ones place. So I had 5 ones, and now I added another 10 ones to that, which leaves me with 15 ones. Now I'm able to subtract 6 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have to count how many I have left. So friends, count really quick for me. How many ones do I have left? Yeah, I have 9 ones. Okay, now I can move to my tens place. I have 6 10s there, and I need to subtract 5. See how it tells me that in my vertical form? So I have enough right there. So let's subtract 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm left with how many 10s are left, friends? Yep, 1 10. Now I move to my hundreds place. Well, that's easy, right? Because there's nothing to subtract. So 1 minus 0 is still 1. So 175 minus 56 equals 119. All right, awesome. All right, friends, this part, you guys are going to follow along with me. So I'm going to tell you at certain points of the problem to pause and do the next step, and then we'll go through this problem step by step together.
Try this one on a piece of scrap
So here we
paper.
have 115 minus 56. Here's my place value chart. What's the first step that I need to do on my place value chart? Yeah, right, we need to model that on our place value chart. So you guys are going to pause the video, model 115 on your place value chart, and then click play once you've finished your modeling. That's all you're doing is just the modeling.
Draw it out on a piece of paper, or you may use your dry erase
All right,
board.
friends, so here's what I came up with. 110 and 5 ones. Now I'm going to go to the ones place. Can we subtract in the ones place? I have 5 ones and I need to subtract 6. No, right? We can't do that. We don't have enough. So we need to unbundle a 10, right? So you guys are going to pause the video, do some unbundling or decomposing, and just model just the ones place, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends. So here we take this 10, and we're going to unbundle it or decompose it into 10 ones. To model that on my place value chart, well, now I have 0 10s, and I have 15 ones now because I had 5 and then I added 10 more, and that's 15. So now I'm definitely able to subtract 6 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, then I'm left with 9 ones. Cool. Good work, friends. All right, so now I move to my tens place. Can we subtract 5 10s from 0 10s? Yeah, no way, right? It's not possible. So we need to do some more decomposing and unbundling. So friends, I want you guys to pause the video. I want you to solve just the tens place and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here's what I came up with. So I looked at this 100 and said, oh, friend, I'm going to decompose those 100 or that 100 into 10 tens. Now, I'm going to model what I just did on my vertical form. So I took this 100 and decomposed it. So now I have no hundreds left. Okay. Now, instead of 0 10s, I have 10 10s. So now I'm able to subtract 5 10s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many 10s do we have left? Yeah, we have 5 10s left. Okay, then we move to our hundreds place. And there's nothing to subtract there, right? So 0 minus 0 is 0. So 115 minus 56 equals 59. All right, friends, here's another problem for us. 112 minus 89. So you guys are going to pause the video, solve this problem all the way on your own from the ones, tens, and hundreds, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here's how I solved this problem. So first I need to model 112, which is 100, 110, and 2 ones. I start in the ones place. I'm not able to subtract 9 ones from 2. So I'm going to decompose this 10 into 10 ones. So now I'm left with 0 hundreds or 0 tens. And now I have 12 ones. So I'm going to subtract 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 12 minus 9 equals 3. Then I move to my tens place. Oh man, I don't have any tens. So I need to unbundle my 100 into 10 tens. Okay, so now let's model what I just did on the vertical form. So now I don't have any hundreds, and I have 10 tens. So 10 tens minus 8 tens. Let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm left with 2 tens. And then there's nothing in my hundreds place to subtract anymore. So 112 minus 89 equals 23. All right, friends, so hopefully you guys got that one. Okay, so awesome job. All right, 2 thumbs up to you guys for relating our models with manipulatives to the vertical standard algorithm in vertical form. So great job, friends. Please head back on over to the module to see what you need to complete for your independent practice.
All right, good job, guys. Great examples Ms. Walker gave you. And you need those great examples because you have math to work on for yourself. So Ms. Blaine wants you to use your place value information, what you know about hundreds, tens, and ones. I want you to use your dry erase board or scrap paper. And I want you to work these problems drawings out on that paper. What Ms. Bland is looking for in the box is for the problem to be turned in vertical form. And then I want to see your unbundling. What does that mean? I want you to look at A. I'm going to take 72 and I'm going to turn it vertically. And then I'm going to draw my picture off to the side if I need to, so that I can write in word form what I do in my picture. So I have 2 minus 9. I know I have to unbundle. So I'm going to take from the 7 and make it a 6. I'm going to add that 10 to 2, which is 12. 12 minus 9. That's right, it's 3. And 6 minus 4 is 2. Same thing for my larger numbers. We will write it vertically. Try our best to line our numbers up the best we can so that ones and tens are directly under each other. I'm going to look. 5 minus 4 is 1. Nothing I need to do. Oh, but look, 5 minus 4, 4 minus 5, I can't do. So I have to unbundle my 100 and add it to my 4. That gives me 14. 10 plus 4 is 14. And 14 minus 5 is, of course, 9. That's what you're going to do for each of them. If you draw your pictures on your dry erase board or you draw your pictures on a piece of scrap paper, Ms. Bland doesn't need your pictures on your paper. I need to see your math. You will complete each of the pages listed inside of your packet. There are 4 of them. Do your best. 3 of them are 2 pages are word problems. Make sure you read the word problems 2 times before you write anything. 1 time is never enough. Our last thing of the day is our social studies writing portion. And for our social studies part today, we are talking about another famous woman, Miss Katherine Johnson. Katherine Johnson was born August the 26th, 1819. in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. She was the youngest of 4 children and had shown a talent for math from an early age. She began high school at the age of 10 years old. Wow. And began college at 15 at West Virginia State. That's crazy. Most people start high school at 15. After college, Johnson became a teacher and then in 1953 was hired as a mathematician for NASA. Those are the people that fly into space. In 1962, the United States had begun preparing for its first mission to the moon. Catherine studied how to use geometry for space travel. She was able to figure out the path to go around the Earth to the moon. Catherine Johnson worked for NASA for 30 years and retired in 1986. So there are going to be 3 chances for you to read that. See the 3 boxes at the bottom. Ms. Blaine just read one of them for you. So that one is covered. And so then there is another chance for you to read it and be ready. We are going to look at another video.
History known for using numbers to guide a nation into space. Stay tuned for more as I share interesting facts from the biography of mathematician Catherine Johnson. The life of Catherine Johnson began on August 26, 1918 in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. She would move through school quickly, attending high school on the West Virginia State campus at 13, to later enroll there at the college by the age of 18. From there, she would graduate with honors in 1937, going into the world of teaching at a Black public school in 1937. After hearing about open positions at the all-Black West Area Computing Section at the National Advisory for Aeronautics Langley Laboratory, Johnson began working there in 1953. In 1956, Catherine would experience a major change with the loss of her husband, who died of cancer. Not long from there, the 1957 launch of the Soviet satellite Sputnik changed history and Johnson's life too. Johnson would provide math for the 1958 document Notes on Space Technology, helping to further research on space travel. As the world raced to space, NASA had computers running calculations to complete a trip to space, but astronauts feared to go into space based on computer calculations. That is where the famous phrase, "get the girl," calling for Johnson to run the numbers by hand, led to the astronauts trusting Johnson's calculations enough to make the trip. With a resume filled with accomplishments, Catherine retired from NASA in 1986, where she would later be awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom Award in 2015. The life of Catherine Johnson came to an end on February 24th, 2020, at the age of 101.
Oh, wow.
Using numbers to change the world was what she did best. And I hope you enjoyed highlights from the biography of Catherine Johnson. But hey, don't.
So guys, she just died last year and she was 101 years old. Wow. That's amazing. All right, so you have 2 more reads. Why do I need to read it 2 more times? Because beside it, you have 4 questions. They are open-ended questions that I want you to answer in a complete sentence. When and where was Catherine Johnson born? What career did Johnson have at NASA? What did Catherine Johnson discover? And what year did the U.S. plan to go to the moon? Do your best. All right, guys, all you got to do now is go back and finish all the things we went over. Phew, that's a lot, but you got it, and I'm so proud of you for doing it. Remember, I have office hours from 2:45 to 3:45. If you log in and let me know what you need, I'll be happy to go over it with you. And I'm almost done. Check and make sure every page of this today, which is Wednesday's packet, is complete. Make sure that you finish any Seesaw activities for this week that you've not done. Make sure you check on your Bailey specials to make sure you're doing what you should do there. And if you have some time, check out a cool epic book so I can see what you're reading. That's always fun. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you need something, Dojo's always open Just remember, it might take me a little longer to respond than normal. See you guys really, really soon. Your week is coming up faster and faster. Have a great day. Be safe. I love you. Take care. See you soon.